Hi again, guys. This video is just going to be a short demo on how you can use the data analysis tools on QuickRes to analyze the status of your ART cohorts, or the ART cohorts of your clinics or your cluster, or the treatment navigators that you work with. So once you're already logged in on the back end, you're just going to navigate to this left side panel, go to the data button here and click on this drop down. You're going to get more options. Scroll down to the results option here, click on that one as well, and then from this selection, scroll down and select the ART cohort option. Once you've selected that, a filter will come up here. Now you have a date filter that allows you to generate results based on a custom date range. So you could do this for the week, for the month, for the quarter, or for the whole year. But if you want to get all the results on QuickRes since the rollout, then you just leave these blank. So I'm just going to leave them blank because I want to get the entire history of results on QuickRes. Then once you've selected the dates, you're just going to move forward here to the filter. Now you can filter to get this table populated based on your case manager or treatment navigator, based on your clinic. For the purpose of this demonstration, I'll just choose a case manager. Now, as soon as you choose case manager, you're then able to select up to 7 treatment navigators that you can populate this table for. So I'm just gonna select a number of treatment navigators here, so we can start populating some results. In this case, I mean, for you, you could be populating these by facility or by cluster, whatever the case may be, so that you get the status of the ART cohort for that specific filter. So I'm just going to click on it here. Now, to populate this, it takes a little bit of time, up to about a minute, because the system has to collect the data and then sort it into graphs. So if it loads for more than 30 seconds to a minute, don't worry, nothing's wrong. These data heavy tables usually take a little bit of time to load. So we're just going to wait for it to load. Great. So now the table has been generated and we have this these results. So once the table has been populated, the next thing we need to do is now figure out how to make sense of these tables. So automatically you can see that these graphs vary in size, and typically the size is determined by the number of records that each of these TNs would have. So the way in which we can use this graph for continuous data analysis and monitoring is, for instance, we could automatically look at the total number of clients enrolled here. So there could be an issue here to determine whether the TNs that have lower graphs, is it generally that they're in low volume sites, or is it that maybe they're not enrolling all the clients on QuickRes? So this is just an obvious area where you could just check if there is a large discrepancy in clients between the TNs. You could use the smaller graphs to try and determine whether clients are being enrolled properly on QuickRes and more of the lower volume sites. And of course, some sites will be low volume, so you will be expecting low volumes, but where you know that a certain site is high volume, but the number of records on QuickRes is much lower, that's obviously a cause for concern that we can probe further. The other thing that we can then do is look at things like arrival rate. So the coding for each of these graphs is at the bottom here. So if I just take the first graph, you can see how many clients in general are on here, how many of them have stock, how many of them have no stock, how many of the clients' records are closed, and how many have been interrupted. So a large swing in any of these numbers allows us to know if there is a high percentage of closed records, but the number of closed records for viral load is low. We could then check, right, the recommendations for how to treat each of these these numbers on the graph is on the SOP. So for instance, if there's a high number of closed records but a low number of virally suppressed clients, that means records are being closed but they're not being closed because of viral suppression. They may be being miscategorized. So, the recommendation there would be to talk to the TN and make sure that we go back to the closed records and we close them for the right reasons so that the graph reflects how many of those clients were actually suppressed, and so on and so forth. So this is just one way in which we can continue to use some of these data tools to try and understand more about the work that's being done on the ground, have the data give us a picture of the situation in each of the facilities, and use these graphs to generate recommendations that we can take up with the TNs and improve the way in which we are performing analysis and data monitoring on QuickRes.